Imagine you're a fresh, salty little squid, emerging wet and eager from the community college campus where you completed your MSF course. In your hand lies the golden ticket you were awarded from your elder rider coach for providing you're capable of performing the most absolute basic skills required to ride a motorcycle in a completely controlled setting. You walk proudly into the DMV to get that motorcycle endorsement on your license, dreaming of MotoGP cosplay. With your shiny new endorsed license in hand, you meet up with your bros at Planet Fitness and they clue you in on a sick deal on a Gixxer 1000 they saw on Facebook. One of them says, "Look, dude, this is a sick deal, bro. Look at all the mods they've done." You mention that you feel like you've heard that it is inadvisable to start on your leader bike, and your buddy at the squat rack says, "Seriously, bro? I started on a leader bike and look how I turned out," as he pulls up the sleeve of his t-shirt, exposing the tribal tattoo on his arm and flexing his bicep. Next thing you know, your wallet is empty and you're standing on your tiptoes at a stoplight, struggling to keep the 1000cc motorcycle upright beneath you. The tears you're fighting back are starting to fog up your tinted visor as you struggle with the controls trying to get the bike into rain mode. Your feeling of anxiety and dread builds in your gut as you anticipate the light turning green. Will this be the moment of acceleration that kills me? If there is a God, will he kill the power to this intersection so I can stay stuck at this light forever? This is not the motorcycling experience you want to have as a beginner rider, or any rider for that matter. Crying at a stoplight isn't usually what people think of when they imagine the biker lifestyle. Beginning to learn how to ride a motorcycle on the street can be scary enough as is, and starting that journey on a motorcycle that is far too powerful, too large, and likely too expensive is going to make the experience much more difficult than it needs to be. Oh wait, cue the comment warriors down below telling me that they start on a leader bike and they're fine. And while any sensible and experienced motorcycle is quick to advocate the merits of a smaller, beginner-friendly motorcycle, there are plenty of small-brained alpha chads that say otherwise. It is hard to determine if those are the preachings of truly ignorant machismo or just sadistic Darwinists who believe nature will weed out the weak from our society. If history has taught us anything, there will always be people, typically young, testosterone-fueled men, who make decisions based on hubris, overconfidence, or the encouragement of their other primal cohorts, instead of safe, rational thought. So for the sweet sake of content, baby, let's say you started on a leader bike for reasons unbeknownst to me. You're scared, confused, and unsure how to proceed. There may be some ways to make it safer, more enjoyable, and keep you alive long enough to make it to your 1-year MSF reunion party. You didn't get your invite? Weird. If you're a motorcycle youngster who barely knows the difference between a Turbo Busa and a touring bagger, you may need a little bit of info to catch you up to speed. The algorithm told you to watch this video, didn't it? A leader bike is a 1000cc race replica sport bike. Think of like a Suzuki Gixxer Thau, R1, or a CBR 1000 RR. They're typically fully fared, 4-cylinder motorcycles that are distilled down from homologated production class motorcycles. Outside of the big four, there are also 1000-ish cc motorcycles and different engine configurations from European brands such as Ducati or Aprilia, but if you got a Panigale as your first motorcycle, something tells me you're beyond the scope of my assistance. You might be thinking, what about this is bad for beginners? I hope you're not thinking this, but you know what they say about stupid questions, right? Well, the answer to why a 1000cc race replica is bad for a beginner rider is kind of in the question. Are you a highly skilled motorcycle racer? Is the public road a racetrack? No and no. There will be plenty of time in your riding career to pursue bigger and faster bikes and explore track riding, but that won't be a particularly easy feat if you literally don't even know how to make a right-hand turn from a stop yet. A leader bike makes a ton of power, like a stupid amount of power. A 200 horsepower leader bike is faster than basically most exotic supercars, and for some reason, if you can do U-turns in a parking lot with a dozen other random people for a weekend, and then go to a dealership and finance a literal rocket ship. A leader bike is so fast that with improper throttle technique, you can lift the front wheel without even trying, either coming off a light or even worse, coming out of a corner. Or if the front wheel doesn't lift, you can break the back tire loose. With an engine that powerful, an improper shift, either up or down, can get you into serious trouble. Not to mention just how effective the braking is. Good brakes are absolutely crucial on an extremely powerful motorcycle, but if you're a novice who isn't used to finessing the brake lever that can stop a 420-pound motorcycle going 100 miles per hour on a dime, you can lock up the front wheel, rear wheel, or both and just completely wash out. Newer 1000cc motorcycles come with complex suites of rider aids to combat situations like this. They'll often come with wheelie control, traction control, anti-lock brakes, and even 6-axis IMUs that can determine where the bike is at any given moment and modify the systems accordingly, meaning that the bike can tell tell if you are leaned over in a turn or looping backwards during a power wheelie. While these fail-safes are great for helping keep riders safe at the track, they can impede the learning process if your bike is constantly checking your work for you. The general size and weight of a leader bike will also be tricky for a new rider. For an example, an R3 weighs 368 pounds and has just shy of a 31-inch seat height, whereas an R1 has a nearly 34-inch seat height and weighs 439 pounds, especially if you opt for flip-flops instead of proper riding boots, and may be tricky for most of you to flat foot an R1 comfortably. Plus, the ergonomics of a 1000cc bike or even a 600 is just not really conducive to beginner riders. The position's super aggressive and puts you right in the pocket, which will make it even harder to practice throttle control if you have yet to learn how to keep yourself properly propped up by squeezing on the gas tank with your legs and keeping the weight off your hands. Okay, so you found this video too late and your real life buddies joined forces with the most controversial edgelord internet motorcyclists and convinced you to buy a leader bike right off the bat. You're scared to ride it because of the power and also scared because of how much you love the power. The first option, albeit likely to prove unpopular in the comments section, is to sell it. Literally just sell it. Sell it while it is still intact and worth close to what you paid for it. Not gonna get any skin off my back and you can wash away the shame in your shower. Or if you barely put any miles on it and you're savvy with digital marketing, maybe you'll be able to make a few bucks off the sale and then just get a smaller bike. You don't need to swing the complete opposite way and get a Rebel 250 or some other cursed or painfully slow motorcycle, but something that will allow you to actually learn and still be exciting and keeping you interested, like an SV650 or an MT-07 or a Ninja 400. Those are perfectly suitable for a mature rider who wants a bike they can take out of third gear every once in a while. You gotta remember that life is long. Other riders will say things like, you know, you're going to want a leader bike eventually, so just get it now. When in reality, sooner or later, you'd want to buy another bike anyway. You don't need to buy your final one bike to rule them all motorcycle right off the bat, because even if you think you found it, you'll want something else soon anyways. And if you have a 200 horsepower leader bike, where is there left to go? The next thing you know, you'll be sinking 20 grand into a Turbo Busa build because the fast boy life is inescapable. Or you buy a frickin' H2, or you have both. And then you make videos about it on the internet. And then where does that lead? Similarly, if you don't want to sell your overpowered leader bike, just buy a cheap small beater to figure out while you learn the fundamentals. Outside of learning how to operate a motorcycle is learning how to actually ride it on the road. How to navigate other cars and turns and traffic situations. You'll be able to develop those skills a lot quicker on a Ninja 400 than a frickin' Ninja H2. That is also why it's hard to recommend a leader bike to someone who has plenty of experience riding dirt bikes off-road, because even if you're confident in handling a powerful lightweight machine, there are a lot of different factors outside of your control that won't be used to if you've previously only been riding trails. I can almost confidently say that for certain people, buying a smaller bike to learn on for a while would ultimately get them more confident on the leader bike sooner than just starting on the leader bike outright and just trying to figure it out. There's a reason that every top-class racer did not start racing on 1000cc motorcycles. It's not really the right place to start. And if you are really dedicated to having a leader bike as a beginner, you need to be really smart about it. It is not impossible. People have done it. Some of them are no longer with us, rest in peace, but surely some of them still are. So if that is the route you choose to go after everything, truly understanding the fundamentals of riding beyond trial and error are exponentially important. Take time to research, study, and learn about how to be a good and safe rider. There are plenty of resources for motorcyclists that want to continue their education, including books and DVDs and videos such as Twist the Wrist by Keith Code, or advanced in-person rider courses put out by the MSF or people like the Yamaha Champ School. Otherwise, the same rules as learning how to ride in general apply to riding a leader bike, but with a lot higher stakes. Be patient. Take your first rides in areas you're familiar or comfortable with. Be cognizant of your throttle use and try your best to ignore the devil on your shoulder. While they can impede your fundamentals to an extent, definitely make use of all the rider aids at your disposal. But keep the bike in rain mode for a while and have your traction and wheelie control dialed in, but try to remain aware of when they are intervening and recognize that there could be a sore spot in your skill set if wheelie control kicks in every time you leave a stoplight. If you're a beginner who has found themselves in the possession of an older, completely analog leader bike, maybe revisit the part where I said to sell it. Life is long. You'll have plenty of time to ride new and faster motorcycles as you continue riding over the years. And remember, no matter if you ride an R1 or a Fireblade or a Turbo Hayabusa, there will always be someone who can outpace you on a racetrack on a Ninja 400. So keep that ego in check, big guy. As always, be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. While you're at it, click that notification bell so you won't miss out on all of our new videos. What do you think? Did you start on a 1000? Do you recommend people start on 1000s? I'm sure this comment section surely won't be a dumpster fire. Goodbye. Fact: Frank Sinatra's My Way has been removed from many of Filipino karaoke bars as bad renditions of it have led to between 6 and 12 fatal fights since 2000. Goodbye.
Keep watching.